And finally, we've all heard of the water, energy, food nexus. It's usually in the context of the power industry or biofuel crops. But what about the nexus in your kitchen? Barilla, the company famous for selling pasta around the world, have recently demonstrated that we could save 80% of our macaroni-making CO2 emissions by not boiling the pasta for quite as long as we've been used to. You've seen these little tables on the side of the pasta packets. Well, Barilla now helpfully provides a table showing the passive cooking times for various shapes of pasta. Professor Giorgio Parisi, who actually won the 2021 Physics Nobel Prize, agrees. In a Facebook post, he said that turning off the heat midway through cooking pasta and then covering it with a lid and waiting for the residual heat to finish the job reduces the carbon burden. But what does he know? He's only got a Nobel Prize for physics. So Professor David Fairhurst, a mathematician and physicist at Nottingham Trent University here in the UK, now he researches phase changes and the interactions of liquids with solids. He did what every good scientist would do, and he asked his students to prove it. Now, what this revealed was that when cooking dried pasta, there are two processes which take place. Firstly, water penetrates the pasta, rehydrating and softening it, and secondly, the pasta heats up, causing the proteins to expand and thus become edible. Now, in conventional cooking, one would put 100 grams of pasta into 1 litre of boiling water for 10 to 12 minutes. The breakdown of the energy is depicted here. Now, it's pretty clear from this graphic that around 60% of the energy is used to keeping the water boiling, the yellow segment in this pie chart. So anything that can be done to reduce that cooking time has a significant impact on the overall energy demand. Parisisi's method of turning off the hob midway and allowing the pasta to cook in the residual heat halves the energy demand, and obviously this method would be even more effective on a ceramic hob because they're slower to cool down. However, just when you thought we'd come to the end of this fascinating tale, there is more. By separating the processes of rehydration and heating, it's possible to reduce the energy demand even lower. Dried pasta can be fully rehydrated by pre-soaking it in cold water for 2 hours, requiring no energy at all. The pasta then needs to be dropped into boiling water, but what? Asked these particular researchers in their paper published in Science for Food and Agriculture. Who'd have thought there'd be so many journals which would have an interest in this topic? What, they asked, if we were to change the ratio of water to pasta? Could there be even more savings? Now, Nottingham Trent University found that, in their opinion, halving the water volume resulted in perfect pasta, but reducing it to 1/3 was unsatisfactory. Now, that's all very well, but what do a bunch of British students know? So to get the definitive response, surely you need to ask some Italians. So we did.
No.
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 Now, those were genuinely some of my Italian aisle colleagues, and their response may have been compelling, but it's not a clean sweep. One of my colleagues, Antonia Frisia, is a particular pasta aficionado. Quite difficult to say. She is proud to claim that she eats around 100 kilograms of pasta every year, and her view is a little different.
Absolutely, yes.
Joking apart, around 16 million tonnes of pasta are produced annually worldwide. This means that around 400 million portions of pasta are served every day. If pre-soaked in cold water, we could save 73 to 86% of the carbon emissions. Now, that is a big number. Now, one final thought before I finally let this topic go. One of my Italian colleagues, Gianluca, told me that this debate about pasta cooking has been exercising the minds of the great Italian nonnas, grandmothers to you and me, who better to consult on this key topic. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but apparently the debate amongst the nonnas goes something like, OK, so we can turn off the gas and let the pasta cook in the hot water. But what about the ragu? That still needs at least 8 hours before it's perfect. With that, we come to the end of this week's broadcast. I once again thank all our contributors and sponsors. Next month's broadcast will be on February the 23rd at the usual times. Keep asking questions, keep sharing, and keep safe.